Yeah, yeah. What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz, the adult. All right, man, look. Wait, Chico, there you go. All right, man, look.
You're amazing.
You too, Chico. So, who we have today is a WBC ambassador and the #1 global source of the real American Pit Bull Terrier. If you are of boxing and you are a dog lover, you probably heard of this guy. If you haven't, it pleases me to introduce to you Chico Lopez. How you doing, brother?
My friend, I'm extremely happy. I'm honored to be here with you. I really love your energy. I told you that before. I love the channel. I love, oh man, look, it is Friday, all this stuff. I love it. It's a lot of channels out there in YouTube, and I have a few friends that have channels. I really, really love your channel. I told you it's unbiased, and this is very informational, and he also brings topics that are very interesting for the fans. But you also are pro boxing, pro the champions, and you bring also a lot of good, what should I say, good traditions and good information from the past. So you are like connecting like the present with the past, and you're bringing all this in a really nice way to keep those traditions. So I think you're a great guy for guys that are coming into boxing, professional guys, and then guys like me that go around a little bit with boxers and stuff like that. I really appreciate your opinion. I love it. I promise.
Hey, thank you so much, Chico. That was amazing, especially coming from you. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to raise the awareness, and we're going to do that with you as well. But before we dive into who is Chico Lopez and American Pit Bull Terrier, I mean, that's a very, very important subject. Okay, Michael Vick definitely brought that to the forefront, and we're going to dive into all of that stuff a little bit later. What jumps out to me is Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, Canelo.
Now, you have a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. He is now a new owner of one of your beautiful puppies, and the price tag. How much did he pay for one of your puppies, Chico?
But you saw the headlines that said that he paid $150,000, right? So everybody's going crazy with that. But be honest with you, I developed this on 27 years of extremely hard work and dedication. I really gave my life for the purpose of, and listen to what I'm going to tell you, the purpose of owning the very best true American Pit Bull Terrier, not in America, but in the whole planet. And without a doubt, with the merits, with everything. And so when it comes to that process, it's a very expensive process. It's a lot of sacrifice. I couldn't go in one direction and become a different type of man, but I decided to take this direction, which required for me to really sacrifice some career interests that I had before. But I was taken by the amazing energy and the amazing heritage and the amazingness of the true American Pit Bull Terrier. And I call it true and real because not everything is a pit bull. And we'll go into those details in a little bit. But since you asked me about Canelo and the tag price, let me tell you about this.
All right.
We were talking about this that I just said now before Canelo came aboard in a beautiful Mercedes-Benz. And we are there with my friend Mauricio Suleiman, and we are with my friend Pelayo, which is now is a president of boxing commission and sports commission in the state of Tijuana, Mexico. He's a really nice guy. We were there with a few friends. Later on, we had Jaime Munguia, which we also were talking with him and stuff like that about dogs. And so we talked about how expensive and how much I have put into these dogs. So and they understood. When they look at the puppy, I mean, it's like somebody is an expert on horses. When that person is driving through Kentucky and see the travel on these horses, he can tell that right there is a thoroughbred. That's not a barn horse, right?
That's
and
right.
So these guys saw these dogs like, wow, oh my God, I never saw a pit bull like this. And like they clap the dog and they're very excited about it. And there's all this positive energy going from these men. They're all businessmen. They're all very well settled in life. they entrepreneurs, businessmen, professional commissioners into boxing, into sports, and so on and so forth. Canelo rolls in, and Canelo really didn't know to what extent the kind of animal that he was getting. So he walked in there, and I had the certificate that I made. That's my signature, Chico Lopez, real American Pit Bull Terrier, and father, mother, the picture, the puppy, so on and so forth. And I also put together a little booklet, which is this booklet. Really, what he has is the pictures of the puppy before he got him, so he can have memories for his children on how that puppy looked before he got him. Because when the puppy is really small, he don't get to see it. That my clients don't get to see them, but I take pictures all the time. I play with my puppies. I like to understand what it is to be with the human, and respect and connection and so on and so forth. So I spend a lot of time on my couch.
Well, how long does that process take when you say that they don't see him?
I will start somewhere around 5 weeks, 4 weeks. So by the time the puppy goes out, it's 12 weeks. So I spend, afternoons with the puppy. I walk around, take the puppy with me, my wife. We give them a bath. We let them play. And we do some exercises, like we put the puppy, with his legs up, and we play with him. We put him on some situations so he can have confidence on himself. It's a process, right? And so it's a preparation so the puppy is ready for the world. So I put those pictures in there. I put the picture of the father, the mother, stuff like that. So because Canelo is a real busy man, and these people are, there's a difference between when Canelo wanted to have a puppy and Terence Crawford. And I'll go into that in a little bit.
Wait, hold on, wait a minute. Terence Crawford, he got a puppy too?
He got 2 of them. So Terence Crawford is really like someone that really understands about dogs and really loves them. So I have his certificate, by the way, and he's like the one Canelo guy. And the Terence Crawford was made actually before that. I'm going to meet him in New York on December the 14th. So I'm actually taking those to him, But Canelo, I saw him before, so I gave it to him. Terence, I have yours first, right? Let's get that out of the way. I don't want that he shoot me, right?
There's nobody to play with.
No. Terence is a serious guy. This is, is the king. So I said, I wanted Canelo to kind of get him acclimated a little bit to what he's getting and the type of dog and so on and so forth. So we put this little book for him. The haters on the internet, they make memes of me like I'm a door-to-door salesman selling these pit bulls with this.
With a going rate of 150,000.
Yeah, but for me, it's an honor because they make memes of Obama, of Donald Trump, the guys from the Real Madrid, they make of Messi. The guys from Barcelona make of Cristiano Ronaldo. So big celebrities did this kind of memes. So for me, it's like, it's an honor. I don't really get, bring it on.
Yeah.
Because it's to me a blessing, right? You know what happens? I have a few people that actually I done business with that were attracted by the haters, not by me somehow. They're attracted by the haters, and they got the haters, and then they say, let me check out who this Chico Lopez is. They Google me. Oh my God, he has the best dogs in the world.
Right, there you go. Whatever bring you over. If it's love or hate, you come on over.
That's right.
That's right. But the quality of your pit bulls is what changes everything.
It's unparalleled. There's nothing like it in the world. Absolutely, there's nothing. Well, let me tell you about the $150 tag.
Because that right there.
So I know it went viral. So this guy come in, and one of the guys, like very famous singer in Mexico, and he has this very rich guy, business guy. He has the puppy with him. So when Canelo comes in, and we got the puppy for you and stuff like that. Canelo is a really nice guy. I want you to know, a lot of people misjudge him. But you gotta also know, when you get so much hate from people and stuff like that, you don't know who's approaching you, right? But in this case, Canelo knew that we were good people. We came from a really good source, and so he wants to get the puppy. He knows the pure American Pit Bull Terrier, but he doesn't know the heritage and what makes him so special. He trusts the process that they take him to the very best American Pit Bull Terrier in the planet. So he got there, right? He got there, and so I'm explaining to him and showing him this book and said, when I open it, and we give him the puppy, then when the guy said, then Canelo says, well, thank you, gracias, thank you very much. We're shaking hands. And then the guy said, what do you mean you're shaking hands? He said, $150,000, you gotta pay me. So the video continued, but we cut it there. and we left it there. So we knew the haters were going to react. Boom, boom. But there was a continuation to the video where I'm laughing and I say it's 150. And then I said, no, my friend, you know, we really, really appreciate who you are. We appreciate your inspiration to humanity, how you influence young people, how you influence those guys that want to fight for life and see themselves into you being the boxer, the metaphor of the worker, man, the warrior that goes to his home and has to take care of his family, goes to work, he gets, you know, maybe broken down in the company, maybe broken down in a job, maybe he's tired, and he goes home and he gets, you know, this mentality of being a warrior, remembers how the boxers are training, and they become an inspiration. So Canelo, Terence Crawford, Andy Ruiz with, you know, being the underdog, Andy Ruiz, love him. You know, these are things that us in life, entrepreneurs, can look at ourselves and say, you know, I am that guy. I'm going to be like him. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be like Andy Ruiz. I'm going to be like David versus Goliath. I'm going to go against
you got that right.
Guys.
You talk, Chico.
Against me,
you
and I'm going to take over. So boxers like Andy Ruiz, for instance, man, this is huge for boxing. You know, Terence Crawford, he came from how do you call it, from Nebraska. You know, he got shot. He went, he won. He, you know, the loyalty. Look at the loyalty between Bomac and the loyalty between Eddie Reynoso and what's his name and Canelo. Look, these they are uncommon traits, uncommon leaders. You know, there are commons in leaders. You know, a lot of people don't have these traits. You know, people today are a little different. We're going into society that, in my opinion, is feminized. And these men, these boxers, bring into the upfront something that society needs. They bring that warriorship with them. And listen to me, whenever you go into war, whenever you go into battle, the men that are going to build societies, the men that are going to defend the country need to have this mentality that is based on the magical word of gameness.
Man, you got, boy, you talk cool. You talk cool, Chico.
You know what I'm saying? So it's built on gameness and it's totally amazing. And the key word, the connection. There's one connection between these dogs, Canelo, Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Alexander Usyk. I don't know if you know, Alexander Usyk just got a little interview. The guy from Ukraine, my friend Nikola Kovalchuk. He came from Ukraine with a TV station. They interview him and they ask him this question. You probably don't even know this, but I'm going to give you an update. They ask him a question, say, listen, you're a very tall guy, you're very powerful, you clean the cruiserweight division, we love you. However, you're coming into the heavyweights and there is no limit here. And you're going, there's a big man. That's I mean, Wilder is big, but also this other guy, Fury, is really, really
valid
like.
Question though, Chico, valid question.
Yeah, like a giant. So they ask him that question, right? And they say, how you think, I mean, how you going to die like this? I mean, you're not going to be able, you can put the weight, but you're not be able to have the size. How you going to do it? And then he says, because we got a picture of Alexander Usyk on the boxing ring with a puppy, facing a puppy from the dog that we have called Atos. And he's just looking and staring at the puppy in the ring and like kind of connecting with the puppy, and like so amazing. And I'll go into that a little bit, but then the reply he gave them was totally amazing. He comes and says, look, in America, in England, also 1800s, you know, 1700s, they used to have these animals that used to go against big bears and go against big bulls, and they would die fighting, and they never give up. And this is the basis of the American Pit Bull Terrier. That's and right. I have a pit bull inside. In the outside, I might look like a white rabbit, but in the inside, I have a pit bull. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And you know, Terence, what's his name? Usyk, he was going against Value in Manchester. I was with his team. We walked right there into the face-off. And he's going up the stairs, and for some reason they kind of hold us on the stairs. So I look at him and I made a video and I say, "So you have pitbull?" And he says, "No, I'm a white rabbit." And he's like, "Oh, amazing!" Because you know, Usyk is the master of making these amazing faces that like just throw you off, you know. Yeah. But for me, you know, putting this puppy, because my motto today is the best dogs in the hands of the best people. And obviously that includes blue collar people, that includes hard workers, that includes, I prefer businessmen, doctors, engineers, lawyers, and all athletic men. So I don't want these dogs to go in the hands where the breed or the dogs that they call pit bulls are in right now, because they breed them. They don't know what they breed. They do only for money purpose only, and they destroy the breed. So I want to put the dogs in the right hands. And doing that for me, working with Canelo is fundamental. I love Canelo. Listen, I tell you something that a lot of people don't understand. The biggest haters of Canelo are not in America. People in America respect him a lot. I have no idea why the guy's in Mexico. I guess he's, and I was talking to somebody yesterday about it. I guess it's like Latinos we have, you know, like we feel like, you know, we want everybody to be our level somehow. And when we see somebody rising, you know, sometimes some people get angry. And, you know, Canelo used to sell lollipops. When he was a kid, 6, 7 years old, he's selling lollipops. When I was 6, 7 years old, I was selling something that is like, you know, sugar water inside a plastic bag.
Oh yeah. We all did that.
Right?
You know, yeah.
I was a businessman. I wanted to make a little bit of money. My parents, the money they give, so I make my own little business at that age. And Canelo is a guy that went through everything that he went through. He went against the boogeyman of the division, which was the great Mayweather back then.
Oh, Mayweather.
Mayweather. And he went very young. He went very young.
But you're saying that the biggest haters of Canelo Alvarez is from his motherland?
From his motherland, from Mexico. And even you got this guy, from Feisestan, whatever his name, that, you know, he makes these titles on videos on YouTube where he comes and says, you know, the title, instead of talking about the title, he has to put the Canelo didn't want to go into it. Man, let me tell you something, man. You got to give respect to these guys. You know, I respect the warriors. You know, let's say you got Terence Crawford going to whoever. You know, I love Terence Crawford. Whoever he goes into, I'm going to like the person, even if the person loses. And if Terence Crawford, for some reason, loses too, I still going to be his friend. I'm going to be a loyal friend to him. So, you know, we need to understand this man need the maximum respect. And you and everyone else, and you see these YouTube channels that are bringing all this information and all these fans, and you guys are influenced. You guys have this responsibility to teach these young guys and to reschool them, and let them know that this thing about making jokes about the guy that lost, or you know, these guys put their life, their dreams, everything in it. And you know what? If they lose, they lose. But on top of that, you come and you don't respect them.
The problem is, Chico, and we're going to get back to that $150,000 in a minute. But the problem is the boxing community, they want fighters to fight everyone, right? They want them to challenge themselves and take them all on. And if they don't, they call them a cherry picker. But if they do and then lose, they get on them for losing. You can't not burn the candle from both ends. Now, I applaud a guy for taking on the challenges. If he lose, he lose. We all lose every day. But how you get up is what's most important. You have guys like Terence Crawford who doesn't even get the opportunity to take on the challenges because, quite frankly, he may be avoided, okay? Because in taking on him, the boxing community, right, the boxing community, they respond to losses in a way where you're nothing anymore. That's why they kind of avoid people like Terence Crawford.
There's
and
no
when you're
problem.
talking about Terence Crawford, he got the dog in him, just like when you said Usyk. And he's the owner of one of your pit bulls. Two of your pit bulls.
Goldie and Bones. Goldie and Bones.
You still remember the names of your pit bulls?
Of course. Listen, everyone that gets my dogs, I establish a relationship of friendship. And obviously, you know, I give them advice on this and that, and I check them and say, how's the dog doing? You know, I would like to get some pictures. I do this. I don't sell a lot of dogs to begin with. You know, I don't. Because I never wanted to be the guy that sold the most dogs or the most famous for selling dogs.
But if the price tag, what's the price tag? Is it $150,000, Chico?
No.
Oh, okay.
For Canelo didn't give me a penny. I didn't sell him anything. I gave it to him.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. So after all of that, going viral, $150,000 all over the place, you gave it to him for free. Why didn't that go viral? Why didn't you? That
will not go viral. The society is not wired like that today. The real men can appreciate that. They can appreciate the honor and the integrity that goes into give it to him. They would rather hear these $150,000 and say, oh, you rip him off. but I know the truth, I know the facts. So people always will talk, you understand? So I gave it to him. For me, it was an honor. Look, the guy is a multimillionaire, you understand? And he could pay the $150,000. But to me, it was a bigger honor that, and it's a great thing for the breed. It's a great thing for the breed.
Wait a minute. So, wait a second, Chico. I know, look, everyone can use $150,000. You turned down $150,000.
I didn't turn it down because I don't sell my dogs for $150,000. I don't. Like my dogs will go for $5,000.
But okay, so but you turned down whatever amount to give your dog to Canelo for free to benefit the breed.
I didn't put a price on it. I just wanted to give it to him as a gift, out of respect. Wow. It's my way to saying thank you to Canelo, saying thank you to his trainer, Chepo Reynoso and Eddie Reynoso for the work they do. Feeling proud of being a Mexican. They're Mexican, I'm a Latino. Feeling proud for the things they do for boxing. How many times can someone come across and say, listen, man, this is for free? You know, if you're a restaurant owner and you have a great guy that comes into the place, you should give it to them for free. When you get a guy like that, why you should charge them? It makes no sense.
Hold on, wait a minute. That's amazing, Chico.
That's the way.
You're an amazing man for that.
No, man, I'm not an amazing guy. I'm a regular guy. My father was a regular, mechanic man, and he told me, he raised me to be a man, a real man, and that's the way things should be. What it sounds to be amazing is the people today have changed, and I am old school. I'm a 48-year-old guy, with a 200-year-old man mindset.
You look a day over 21, Chico. But wait a minute. There must be passion there then. There must be a huge passion.
Listen to the passion is like went over my head. The passion for the dogs, the passion. Listen, for me, the word greatness, the word heritage, the word excellence, the word how do you call this? When you want to leave something to somebody, significance is tremendous. It is tremendous. These things in my head are like the first things. Anything that I do has to be with excellence. If it's not excellence, don't do it. If it's not going to be with excellence, don't do it.
Well, why do you relate boxing? Okay, now you being a WBC ambassador, and I want to know more work that you've done with the WBC. But real quick though, how do you relate that boxing, the boxers, with the breed? I mean, how are you doing that, and why? What's the
my friend? Listen, that is like, it's like by nature, like gravity. Like if you take a rock, you throw it up, it's coming down. That relationship between the relationship, and what happens is someplace, somewhere, there was a loss of values, there was a misconnection around the 60s, and now the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and now the people today. I mean, they lost completely an understanding of what the word gameness is, and I'm going to write it down here. If my beautiful assistant.
For me, when you say gameness, it sounds like fighting, Chico Lopez.
Gameness is actually fighting. It means fighting against adversity. Is inside the man. I know a good friend of mine that we talked about with him and my wife yesterday, and we talk about this man is going to actually give his liver to his brother, and I mean his kidney to his brother. And it requires courage to do that. It requires gameness. Gameness is something that, you have this. Gameness is like you have this universal right of this is that, because it comes in levels. Just gameness is not like flat, you have it or you don't. It comes in levels, just like everything that is mental, like integrity comes in levels. Like you might trust a person with your car keys, but you won't trust him with your daughter. That kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you got that right. So gameness come like that, right? So you got, for instance, a fireman. That's a good thing in the men, humans. This man is going to go into that fire to rescue that baby, and he knows his life is on the line. He can probably say, I can go. But he goes. He take the risk. And he gets that baby out. Maybe he dies. He had a universal right to preserve himself and survival, and he went against that. That's the highest level of gameness, okay? That's the word, how it spells. There was a business card by a guy from from UFC, a UFC trainer, that in the back of his car, business card, says Gayness, and he has his telephone number and everything. I tell you what, you know this other man that I love so much, Royce Gracie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Number 1, number 2, number 3, I believe number 4. Well, he also got one of my dogs. And
what?
He does, yeah.
Hold on. Yo, wait, hold on. When did he get one of your dogs? When was this?
Few months ago. You know, we have a friend in common, and the friend in common, he loves American Pit Bull Terriers. He doesn't have one of this quality. But, you know, we talked about Royce Gracie, and Royce Gracie had the highest respect. Look, man, 1993, and when I looked at him, my brother told me this is the pit bull in humans. And when I look at him, he wouldn't tap out or nothing, and he was getting this beat down. I said, I thought about him many times through my life, through adversity. You know, when I was 16 years old in New York, I was homeless. I was a homeless kid. And I went through a lot of times, a lot of different things where, you know, you feel like you want to quit. You know, a lot of people that do motivational things, they come and tell you, oh, you got to dominate your fears. You got to kill the fear. There's no such a thing to kill the fear. Listen to me. Every warrior that's going to go into battle, there is always fear there. But this gayness to overcome that fear is what makes them a warrior.
You sound like Customato, Chico. Those are the words from Customato. Customato said that to Mike Tyson. It's okay to be afraid. But the difference between a champion and a coward is what you do with that fear.
That's correct. So you overcome the fear. So this man, Royce Gracie, was always for me like someone that I admire so much. So he speaks Portuguese. My wife is Brazilian. We're from Brazil. And when I hear this, you know, that he won, you know, that he's there, and I told him, I said, tell him that I would love to meet him. And I explained to him about the dogs, and if he's interested, we could talk about one. And he went and he talked to him, and then we get a call. You know, I had to look at the phone. I had 2 missed calls because I already put the number. Royce.
The call from Royce Gracie.
Like, whoa! I told my Royce Gracie. Oh my God! And I told him, I said, like, I love you, really. And so we set it up and everything. He said, I want to name my puppy Gracie.
Wow.
And I said, the father is awesome. Mayday, because I wanted to give him something special. This painting that's in the back is awesome. Mayday. We made a dog with frozen semen of this dog that I collected in 2003. Wow. And I said, you know, this is like a little bit of science in it. And I said, it's going to be called Awesome Gracie, if you don't mind. He says, that's great. So this puppy together, I take my good friend Jorge Montes in California with his daughter. We go to Royce Gracie house. He's the coolest guy in the world. Come on, come inside, you know, get your shoes off and stuff to come in the house. He has 2 dogs in the house playing. Then he does his own hunting. He has some deer meat and stuff. He cooks for me and the family and everything. We go outside, play with some chickens. The guy is like the coolest guy. Like, you're going better than going to a neighbor's house. And we're talking. I feel really blessed that I was there with Royce. And so I respect Canelo. I respect Alexander Usyk. I respect Andy Ruiz. I respect
Crawford.
All these guys. And the next champions that will get dogs for me. Because of this, you understand? Obviously, I cannot give my dogs away to everybody, but the ones that they were very close to my heart, I will. And I believe that anybody from the boxing community that calls want to get a puppy for me, I will take care of them as far as price. I'll give them a discount. You understand?
Wow.
As long as they are, you know, big in boxing or UFC or something like that.
Well, this is what I want to say. When you said that Royce Gracie was a nice guy, right? When you talk about Usyk saying, you know, yeah, I'm a white rabbit. When you talk about these guys, you know, from the outside looking in, when you look at Terence Crawford, the way he takes the fight to you, when you look at these fighters, Royce Gracie didn't seem like a guy that wasn't intimidating. And what that makes me think about is pit bulls, period. The perception of pit bulls, they're often judged as dogs that are very aggressive and very intimidating.
Let me tell you about that. Let me tell you about that. What your way of thinking is amazing. Like, you wire like differently. Let me tell you about this. The real American Pit Bull Terrier, it comes in levels, like everything else. You understand? Like, I'm not the only guy that has real American Pit Bull Terriers, but I do, and I know by fact I have the very best of it. And I am my biggest competitor. Like, I am number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 place.
You go ahead. You tell him, Chico.
And I know it. But the thing about it is that the dogs itself, they were called before in the past the dogs of Velvet and Steel. Velvet and Steel. Terence Crawford, as a human, he invited me to his block party in July 4th. And we're having a celebration. The whole neighborhood, the kids jumping, playing, you know, with the rope and basketball. We go illegally like the street the lady was named Crawford. And we close it. The mom and the aunt and the grandmother, her name is Deborah, super lady. And she's cooking, and Chico is my guest. The lady says, don't you mess around with Chico. And then I have my friend Nicola Kovalchuk. He came from Ukraine. We are there, and in Terence, and everyone made us feel like we are homeboys from the neighborhood. And this is the part that is the man made out of velvet. That's the velvet part, the sweet part.
That's right.
Part. Royce Gracie, I cook for you. I take care of you. I am an humble guy. I walk in the street and a punk is coming to mess with me. I avoid the trouble. I can kill him, but I don't want to.
Absolutely.
That is the velvet part. But if we get involved into trouble, Terence Crawford will put you to sleep. With
the steel part.
The left hand, that's the steel part. And Canelo will destroy you with these body shots that Canelo had that is like he can take a bear or the dinosaur down. Boom!
Steel.
Canelo.
That's the steel part.
Ruiz. You know, you see Andy Ruiz, he got knocked down. When I looked at his eyes with that look that he has, like deep, like, you didn't do this. You made a huge mistake, and he's getting up. This is gameness, brother. This is, and then you see the same Andy Ruiz when they interview him, and he's so happy and giggly. He sounds like a regular guy. And with the sneaker bar, he says, listen, mom, I told you now we're not going to be poor anymore. That is the velvet part. When he's walking around and the fans asking for an autograph, and he takes a picture with the old lady, and he's never busy to take care of the fans. That's the velvet part. The human part.
Some people can confuse that velvet part with weakness.
No, but that's people tend to confuse kind of with weakness. It's a saying, right? So
right.
When you come and you take a look, for instance, WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, he's an amazing man. You know, he has WBC cares. You know, go to hospitals, take care of children, being the champions. Nobody else do that, brother.
You don't hear that though. But we don't hear it though, Chico. We don't hear
Mauricio. He's in another level.
But we don't hear it. We don't hear those stories. We don't hear you giving the dogs away for free. We hear the $150,000. We don't hear about Mauricio Suleiman, you know, doing what he's doing and all of those good things and what he's doing for the sport. We don't hear those things. We hear the critics. We hear the criticism. That's
the problem with society. It's a problem. You know, Mauricio Suleiman never deny anybody in an interview. When he goes out there, he always has a smile on his face. People don't know that he was in Hawaii, which is a different time zone. You know, he was in Europe. He comes to New York. He's smiling with everybody. Sometimes I feel annoyed by some things. And he's like, don't worry, Chico, relax. He got all this leadership from his father. To me, Mauricio Suleiman and his father, Don Jose Suleiman, they are what they call Gene Collins in the book of From Good to Great, level leadership number 5, the very best of the best. And, you know, I love to be around these kind of people. You know, I love to be around great, honest human beings that they are very up there on their qualities, but also have a big heart, and that is important.
Well, you said that he got that from his father. Now we're talking about bloodline, and we're talking about pedigree, and we're talking about all those things.
Absolutely,
so
that's very good.
That to the pit bull.
Like that.
You said the real pit bull terrier. That's what you own. Now we got to talk about bloodline and pedigree and what that means. What's the difference? What's a real pit bull and what's a fake one?
Well, it's a huge difference. That topic is really complicated, but I'll try to compress it a little bit. Not everything that people call pit bulls are pit bulls, right? And so, of course, you're going to have, when you, number one, you have a lot of people that are going to try to knock you down, especially because I don't sell to breeders, and I don't sell to dog fighters. I don't even sell to people that show dogs. And the people that show dogs, you know, they are breeders too, so because they are breeding, I can sell them. Look, man, you can't take Secretariat, the thoroughbred horse from Kentucky, and you have a nice guy that he got a donkey or a mule or a barn horse and say, I want to mix my bloodline with something. No. It'll be a disgrace for the work that people have done behind this. So how everything started like this, my friend. We're talking about historical things. We're talking about different times. You know, I eat, like my wife just make me a steak, you know, and we have really good meat here in Brazil, and make me the steak. And when you eat this meat, you know, I know that 60, 70 years from now, I'm going to be looked at like a monster, because people at this time, they're going to be so you know, like
aware, so conscious about.
Yeah, we're going to eat only the flowers and the plants and stuff like that. So of course, you know, you go to Mexico. In Mexico, they still have the cockfights. You have the doctor, you have the engineer, you have the entrepreneur. They're doing the cocks, right? And they're checking the cocks for gameness. Look, if these guys don't do that activity, those cocks are not good to eat them. You know, they're different animals. So they're not like a regular chicken. So there's a functionality, and this is a debate between what is right and what's wrong. And the problem with these cocks is that you can't really take this cock as a pet or not. But the pit bull is different. With the pit bull is different. I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow up your mind. The American Pit Bull Terriers, the basis of it, which are the half-breed dogs, they came from Ireland, they came from England. They used to cross the ocean. It used to be a 35, 60-day journey. And these men, they didn't have a lot of space. You know, they are working guys that are coming to live in the New World. And they're coming in with these small dogs. They used to be their warrior dogs that they used to feed them. And it was normal. Nobody had a telephone. They didn't have TV or cable or television wasn't exist. They didn't even have cars. So these guys really didn't have nothing to do. Okay, let's check who got the best dog. You know, who's the baddest dog. You know, this society back there influenced our society today so much. Like in boxing, you heard ERROL spins, and this happens in America. Oh, there's going to be a dog fight. That was said. And then
it was said about Sean Porter and Errol Spence that was a dog fight. That's
the expression in America, they say, oh, no, I like the underdog. Where is this expression of the underdog comes in? On the old rules of fighting dogs, the bottom tire, they used to put him on a thing that the dog used to come across and show whether he was brave or not. So he likes to be the underdog. I'm going to show you that I can come back. So people don't even know that today, a lot of the expressions that they use are related to the era where, you know, the grandfathers, the great-grandfathers used to use this kind of lingo.
For actual dogs.
Language, huh?
For actual dogs.
For actual dogs, for real dogs. But the word pitbull means never give up. Look, there is a singer that sings very well, I guess. I mean, I like his music, Pitbull, the singer Pitbull. But listen, you put yourself the name Pitbull, you're a superstar. Listen, my name is Pitbull. Oh, yeah, Pitbull. Everybody will know me. Do you look? So, you know, and so there's a realtor's company called the Realtors Pitbull. That means we'll never give up. We'll get your house. Look at Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, master of painting pictures. Hitler, the snake inside the grass, under the grass. Why did he say to these boys that are going to die in Normandy? He says, never, never, never give up. Where did that come from? Gameness. Look at this man. What's his name? Sean Mosley. His gym is called it's called Churchill. I'm sorry, Churchill Boxing Club, and he has Winston Churchill with boxing gloves and then a machine gun, because it's tough man mentality. Those men in the past used to have these dogs. They were their family dogs, and this is what I want you to learn, and I want everyone to learn. Why the pit bull, and maybe the roosters, but why the pit bull? They discover that the very best warriors, the very best fighters, we're talking about the middle of 1800s, late 1800s, when they'll take them home, they'll play with the kids. And the dogs that were worthless, when they bring them home, they want to kill the owner and kill the kids.
So wait a minite.
Dogs. These are good practices.
So what you're saying right now, Chico, is this dog, the American Pit Bull Terrier,
the real one,
what you're breeding, what you have,
yeah,
are best for kids.
Best for kids. They used to call it the nanny dog. They used to be called the nanny dog. Why you think that little Pete and the Rascals, the dog?
Yeah.
They painted on his eye. That wasn't real, by the way.
Right. So it's the gameness, and you know what? You know what that goes to?
He's just like Royce Gracie. Royce Gracie is nice. Royce Gracie is nice, but he's a warrior. The dogs used to be great warriors and used to be nice to children. And the ones that were punks as warriors were punks as dogs too.
So, okay, so what is this thing then? There's a huge dark cloud over pit bull terriers. There's this aggression that people are afraid of. You think that, you know, a real American pit bull or a pit bull, now I'm thinking, but a pit bull terrier will attack your children. You don't want this type of dog around your babies, when actually it's the opposite. They're the best for children. So what's going on? What's destroying the perception of the pit bull terrier? The fake pit bull, like the large pit bulls, the people who fight their pit. What is it? Like, what's causing this?
Let me give you a very broad answer that'll make lots of sense. These dogs went through what I call, this is something that I came up with, controlled evolution process. A development of a bloodline through decades. You know, the 1900s, 10s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. In the early 1900s, these dogs that, when you look back from the 1909 or so, and you look back at the 1800s, you say, well, these dogs already have, you know, 7, 8, 10 generations when they came from Europe. Now we're going to name them American Pit Bull Terriers. Actually, the guy that later created the UKC gave them the name. And listen, this is very funny, because look at this. I'm going to teach you something. Pay attention to what I'm going to tell you.
I've learned a lot already, Chico.
Look, American Pit Bull Terrier. All right. There are 4 words: American, Pit Bull, and Terrier. Mm-hmm. American, because the pride of American was so big. Those men will never burn the flag. Never. Okay? They love their patriots, right?
Right.
And Pit, because those were miners. They used to come from mining sets. When they were in Ireland, they called them the pitmen, because it used to be.
Hold on, wait a minute. I thought pit was because the dogs fight in the pit.
Well, actually became the name later. They called the box or the ring, called it a pit, because they were pitmen.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The name of the pit became the pit because they were the pitmen. Back in the mining sets, they used to take their dogs in the mining sets, and they used to do it by the pit. All right, let's take it to the pit. That's where it came from.
Okay.
So then then there's 2 main breeds that don't exist anymore. They got destroyed by breeders. The bull, which is not the bull, the bulldog that you know, is not the American bulldog.
No, I know that.
It's a breed that completely got destroyed by breeders, right? Because breeders,
I know that.
A creator creates something and the breeders will destroy it. That's how it works. So the terriers were special terriers, which had the tenacity, and the tenacity came from where? From never giving up. These tenacious terriers will go after a fox, or will go after an animal that's inside, and they'll eat their nose, and they go there for 3 hours. They got to take them with a shovel, and they get him. And these ones that never give up are the ones that get bred, the ones that have the first track to the little, to the girls that they're going to have babies with, the puppies, because they show braveness. So when it came to the American Pit Bull Terrier, the terrier carries the biggest influence. And I didn't say all of it, but the biggest, or never giving up. So they went through a process that were created by a specific part of society. In the early 1900s, and maybe in the 1800s, some of these comebacks used to happen in New York City, around Times Square. And the reports of these battles or comebacks on dogs were actually reported by the Police Gazette. The police used to be okay with it because it was different times, and judges and everyone was part of that. They were not like today. So anyhow, they went through that process, and the dogs changed colors. They went from being white to being different color. The whole process of being the bloodlines were born because a particular dog. You have a dog called Centipede, and Centipede, for instance, was this really great dog in combat. So it had the right dimensions, the right biomechanic movements, and he wasn't too long, he wasn't too short. So it's a perfection there, because biomechanics has to do also with boxing. You got a guy that his hands are hanging, or he got too short with arms, or his torso is too short. You got to have certain biomechanics that happen. There's a book here that I'm going to recommend you and all you guys that like your channel. Take a look at this book. It is amazing. Yes, they talk about the sport gene in men. They talk about the IQ side on men. Here, I actually was introduced to this book by my friend Dale Brastrom, which actually wrote that conformation standard of the American Pit Bull Terrier. He used to be a dogman, and he was a very, very smart guy. And talks here about Jamaicans, why they're fastest men in the world, and talks about the mutation gene, how the gene mutated from Africa, the sub-Sahara countries that were attacked by malaria, and how these men in Africa learn their body change and learn how to keep them alive with a lower amount of hemoglobin, like the numbers are lower, like on the charts will look anemic, but they still can breathe, and how the muscle fabrics will react faster, and how when they went to Jamaica, they change. It's kind of hard.
So wait a minute. You're talking about a scientific pedigree, like within a bloodline.
It is
in relations to dogs. That for dogs, there's gameness, there's speed. It's a gene to make you.
A selection. So different men have different standards. Different men have different standards. So this was a path of greatness. Dogs are great. All of a sudden, somewhere in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, some men called breeders. The introduction of the famous breeders, and then it's when you have the Kobe dogs that Jack Johnson used to have Kobe dogs, and Jack Johnson used to have dogs, and he used to actually, go into combat with those dogs. And then you have Jack Dempsey, also the head.
Wait a minute. Wait. Rewind. Let's start with Jack Johnson. When you say going to combat with the dogs, what do you mean?
He used to fight him. It was acceptable by society back then.
Wait, Jack Johnson used to fight his pit bulls?
Yes.
Man, Jack Johnson was that dude was something else.
Back then, being a man was a little different than today.
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
Being obese or being heavy or being this was not acceptable. These guys were all top shape.
Yeah, they were lean.
When you shake a man's hand, you feel the man is there. There's a substance.
Well, I say that, and I say that. Let's look at the heavyweight division. Let's look at Jack Dempsey. Let's look at Jack Johnson. Let's look at Rocky Marciano and these guys. When a lot of people talk about those guys, Joe Louis and all these guys not being able to compete with the heavyweights today because the heavyweights are so blown up, I say the opposite. I say it's their ability to move, their gameness, their technique, their speed, and having maximum power with their size, which will allow them to beat these blown up heavyweights now. When you talk about the real American Pit Bull Terrier, I noticed your Pit Bull Terriers are substantially smaller than a lot of these pit bulls that I see walking around my neighborhood that are humongous.
Those are not pit bulls. Those are not. The double X, triple X, the giant dog, these giant dogs that come out on TV and they made them famous on television, that is not even a pit bull at all of any kind of fantasy. The micro dogs, the bullies, are a deformation of the greatest dog on history. The greatest, listen to me, every American president should own a real American Pit Bull Terrier. Every strong man, every man with integrity, every man with courage should own an American Pit Bull Terrier and their family and be able to say, son, I'm going to leave this for you. And you don't mix it with the mutts and you don't mix it with those dogs. And let me teach you how to carry these great dogs to the next president. Look, let me tell you something. This is the American Pit Bull Terrier. These fools now, and I call them fools, about 30 years ago, they took the terrier word out of it. You might have told you that they don't give up the heart. They took the terrier out and they took the pit, which used the process, the bugs, the ring. So they took the pit and they created the American bully. They kept two words, American and then bully, create the bully. It's little pigs and these big dogs that, they have no gameness. You can run with them or nothing. They had deformation. Look, we met with CANELO, and then Eddie Reynoso came and told CANELO, Canelo, you have something really, really special right here. The ones I have back there, they're the micro dogs, the small dogs, man, they nothing. And, then he sent me a text, and he saw a video of a puppy that my friend has called Magno, this is a special breeding, a daughter of Ciega the Great, bred to also Mayday. And he sent me, he looked at the video, he says, I want one of these, because that one is sold. I said, all right, we'll do that. We'll take a deposit, because if you call me now, I have Chico, tell me, I don't have puppies. They sold before they're born. You put a deposit. I have to accept you first. I have to see who you are, because they send a lot of straw buyers. I hear the guys in the back, they put their girlfriend to call me, and I can hear the guys coaching. I have to be really careful, because I need to protect my work, my stuff. So people that breed dogs with bloodlines and stuff like that, they destroy the bloodlines.
Well, Well, and that's what we're talking about, Chico. Like you said, when you brought up the original bulldog, that bulldog has gone extinct. We don't want that to happen with the American Pit Bull Terrier.
With the real American Pit Bull Terrier. So let me go back into the 1920s, 30s, 40s. Then the dogs became commercialized. And every time they become worse, they'll go back into somebody that has some bloodline. And, you know, they'll get some leftovers of that bloodline and go back in until some genius about 30 years ago decided to take this watchdog bloodline. And they said, well, I like this dog with the biggest head, the biggest. I don't want to have the long snout where he can breathe good. I want the shortest snout. I want him
to hear him snorkeling and sneezing.
With the legs like this, the chest, like the legs are so small, they look like midgets, you know. And some people, and these, believe it or not, these boxers and these guys, they don't know nothing. That's what they want to get. You understand?
Right, off the look, but not the heart, not the bloodline, not the pedigree, not the terrier, not the gameness.
Well, let me tell you now about the process. So through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, people were different. You know, people were different back then, and people different today. So that process kind of broke. You mentioned Michael Vick. I wish you wouldn't mention it, but since you brought that to the table, you know, he became up to him. There were some underground dogmen that had these bloodlines, and that's how I acquired my dogs. Not through him, because I never met him. I don't want to know anything to do with him. But some dogmen had some dogs, and you know, like 27 years I had my dogs, and the guy that we got him from before had it for about 60 years. He got it from another. So it's a connection with good people, you know, good morals and stuff like that. But when that man came about, you know, he wanted to keep it real. He got all these millions of dollars, but he wanted to keep it real with the hood. You know, like, you know, listen to me. There's nothing like I was raised in the hood in New York, but I didn't want to stay in the hood.
No,
I don't want to be in the hood.
I don't want to get out the hood.
I don't want to be a pimp. I don't want to be a killer. I don't want to be a rapist. I don't want to be. So there is no shame of coming from the hood, but there is no merit on staying on the hood and being proud of it. I am not. I don't want to be the next Tupac or the next Biggie Small and get killed by that. I don't glorify that. This is not smart. So this guy, what he did is when he got caught by these things, and the Humane Society made all this trouble for him and everything else, and they went to destroy the breed. The Humane Society and those guys went to destroy the breed, and they destroy everything, right? So what happens is all these dogmen that used to have, or people, breeders of a high level, they used to have these dogs, these bloodlines, they decided to take those dogs and just dump him into, like, sell them really cheap. And so the guys, the criminals that were watching television, the guys from the hood and whatever, they're watching television. Not everybody in the hood is bad, by the way. So
yeah. We're not talking about that.
No. I'm talking about the criminals that live in the hood.
Right,
okay?
right, absolutely.
We be clear with that, okay?
Right.
Small disclaimer.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So those guys went in and got in contact with those guys and bought all those dogs. And they used to be called the game. They call it the game, right? And now I call it the swamp, because nothing but drug dealers, lowlifes, scumbags took those stuff. And I really don't like to talk about it too much because that's not my purpose. Right. But I'm completely away from that life, you know, you understand? Right. But since you mentioned it, I tell you. So there is, and I made an interview that day, and I tell you right now, for the kids and the young people that are watching this video, listen, if your uncle was involved in that activity, if your grand-uncles or whatever, your grandfathers, maybe that was a part of life at the time of their life, and maybe had really no fault because they were born into that. Yeah, but it was different. It was different. But today, 2019, my advice and what I advocate for is don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get on it. If you have a dog, raise the dog until he dies. Give him love. If you know, we know what you do, get him neutered, because maybe he's not even quality. You know what I'm saying? Right. You want to buy a dog, don't get a bully. It's not the real deal. Don't get it double X, triple X. Of course, the community is going to hate me even more because what I'm saying. You say even more. Giant pit bulls, they not good. Those dogs that sell, the guys are selling dogs. Look, man, everybody got a pedigree. Those guys don't have a pedigree of only making money and breeding dogs. And, you know, adding to this point, I want to say that you want to make sure that only the best dogs stay around. Dogs are not like humans. Dogs in the past didn't get the right to breed like human. I'm a human, I'm allowed to have kids, right? It's all right to have kids. Well, dogs is not the same. If you have a horse with a defect, he's not used to, because he will create more defected horses or dogs.
Well, they don't have the choice.
I give you a perfect example. You take the top 10 German Shepherd dogs in America, dog shows. They go UKC, whatever the case might be, and they deform. Their backs are deformed. They deform. The best from United States, from Mexico, Argentina, and here in Brazil. You take them to Germany, to Austria, where they actually have the real shepherd dogs, the real German shepherds, with the right angulations, with the right mechanics. And those dogs do sheep shows, where they actually put these lights on the sheep, and they can make figurines by just directing these, things. They are functional, and you take this, they say, hey, we want to take the best German shepherds from America to incorporate them to your breeding program. They'll say, no, can't do that.
They say no.
Of course not. They don't know how to shepherd. How good is a shepherd that can shepherd? How good is a pointer that can point? How good is a retriever that can retrieve? How good is he? But
how good is a shepherd that didn't shepherd? That was the quote of the day.
Yeah, but the American Pit Bull Terrier, although was created to be a fighting dog at the beginning of the existence, they also discovered by default something that they were not expecting.
What's that?
They bred also at the same time athletic, super game, hard, super good with children, because that was the formula.
Right.
If they were put in the pit or in the box or in the whatever you call it, in the ring, they were great with children. If they were stuck here, they were not good with children. So they kept dogs that were great. Of course, not every dog man has this type of mentality to breed best to best. But like with me, my dogs, they are not good guard dogs. They will defend you if you walk in the street, somebody try to approach you. But you leave them in the house, somebody broke through the house.
They'll play with the guy that broke in the house.
Guys, hey, let me make you up a sandwich, You know what I'm saying?
So
So
wait a minute. We got to talk about this. We have to talk about this. So as far as what can you do about retaining and saving and preserving that pedigree, preserving the American Pit Bull, the real American Pit Bull Terrier? What can you do to preserve that? You got people who like the look of the big head, the big chest, the pigeon toes. You have people who like that. That's the truth, Chico. So how do you preserve that? How do you keep the real Pit Bull Terrier alive?
Well, my friend,
what's the future of the real American Pit Bull Terrier?
It's a little bit shady when it comes to that, because society calls everything pit bull, right? But let's say in a case like you actually understanding that there is this little, what I call Chico Lopez's golden vein, right? And so, when the Sun, the newspaper from Manchester, came to interview Terence Crawford, and I was in New York, and they came and they did this thing about it, and they asked Terence Crawford, what about the dog? And Terence says, the connection that I have with this dog is like so amazing. Like, there is a link in there, I will share with you later. And he talks about how he connects. There's a kinetic connection between him and the dog. Like, that's what I guess Jack Johnson used to have with his dogs. And so what happens is, they call them today, emotional animal support animals, right? You go in the plane and you see this guy with this dog or with this cat, and if you take the cat away, maybe they get some emotional problems. Well, imagine these dogs have influence on those people, and maybe a poodle or a mutt. When you have an animal that it breeds confidence, you can sense it, the confidence, like, I am the man, and I'm good with you, and he licks you, and he make you feel strong. You feel that love, you feel that connection, you understand?
Absolutely.
And you feel like you want to be part of this. And like Terence says, when I take the dog to camp with me, I take Goldie, he says, it's an extension of my family. This was the puppy that was playing with my kids. My kids stood home. The dog is with me on camp. And then there's a picture of Terence Crawford in a video where he's going up in the incline, and Terence is running. And Terence is, he's very tough. And at the beginning of the training, he's still trying to get into that professional shape. And all of a sudden, the dog says, let's go, boy, let's go. Let's continue going, let's continue. And she's just a puppy. That heart right there is influential on you. So instead of you having the influence or the support from I am a poodle, please help me. You're getting it from the, yeah, I am part of the hunters, Leonidas. I'm
Right,
Leonidas. There's
right.
a big difference, my friend. Believe me, listen to me. There's people that said that when they used to work the secretariats, you know what secretariat is, right? The
Yeah,
horse,
that's right.
Triple Crown, the best horse ever, and you know, like the awesome buck of horses, right? So when you walk into his stable, right, into his stable, before you walk, before you touch the door, he's sleeping. You can sense an energy that comes from the blood going around. You feel a being, a superior being to be there. It's the same thing with the dogs. You know, all my clients, and I had them on video. They send me videos. The guy said, I have a lawyer, Winston. He sent me he's from Ohio. I think now he moves to Houston, and he made a video. He says, these dogs literally saved my career and my life. You know, it was so tough for me to go into my last year of college and all the exams and everything, all the troubles of the headaches, the influence of these dogs coming from school and walking this dog, taking it to the park on my days off. I will refresh myself. I used to have a guy that, not one, several guys, but I remember this one that was in the service. He was an ex-U.S. Marine, and he used to have problems and called me 3 in the morning. I had problems. So I decided to give him a puppy, and he was like amazing with the puppy. He had to move to a place. He couldn't have the puppy. I got the puppy back. I'll wake up in the morning. He's sleeping on my driveway. Please, can I walk the dog? So there is a powerful thing. There's a connection between you and the dogs that I own that make you a better person, that make you a better human.
So you're saying that it's the companionship. The companionship is going to speak for itself.
At the level of 1,000, the level of 1,000.
Yeah, absolutely. The companionship speak for itself. Now we're going to talk about your job, Chico. Now, when you say WBC ambassador, what does that mean?
My friend, you know, I met with Mauricio Suleiman at a convention, a boxing convention, and you know, I am the type of person that, you know, what you see is what you get. That's who I am. And you know, I met him. We shook hands. We were talking. We became instant friends. It's some people that just connect. We became instant friends. The next time I saw him, he's like, he said, did I give you my phone? He says, yeah, you gave me the card. He said, no, I want to give you my personal phone. He gave me his personal phone. And then we started talking. We started to become friends. And we were talking, and he said, you know, I need a guy like you. I wish I can have 10 or 100 like you. And we started talking and stuff like that. And I'm always busy. And so he said, you know, I want you to be like ambassador for WBC and then the dogs and stuff like that. And so I connect a lot with the boxers at a very personal level. And so I have a very good connecting skills. I was born with some of it, and the other part of it, I was coached through it, through being a salesman, to being a person of influence. So I got coached with John C. Maxwell. I took his courses. I'm certified as an influencer to be a coach on the 21 laws or irrefutable laws of leadership, and so on and so forth. And I'm a book reader, and so on and so forth. And I've been successful going into companies that they really in trouble, and you know, I hire, restructure method. I look at a method and I change it. You know, big fan of Dr. Dempsey. You know, and changing the Sigma 6 process and so on and so forth. And so, you know, when it comes to Mauricio, him and I just are really good friends. You know, so I believe that I can learn a lot from Mauricio, and from time to time I think I can give him some ideas and advice. And really, that's what it is. There's nothing more than that. You know, I mean, in the future, something else might come aboard, but I'm like a communicator for him, you know. And I can look at something and come back and say, listen, I think it would be a good idea if we could do this, and that. And you come like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. We need to do that, you know.
That's right. That's right. Now, let me ask you this. And if you can speak on this, this would be great. You brought up eating quality meat, right? We brought up Canelo Alvarez. Everyone is talking about how even though Canelo Alvarez passed the test the second time, the more stringent tests as far as his hair sample and stuff like that, people aren't that educated on meat in Mexico. Meat that does have high level of clenbuterol. The fact that Eric Morales, same thing happened with him for eating the meat in Mexico. There's football teams and stuff like that, soccer, doing the same thing. How true is that? And I want to hear it from you. Like, you seem to be someone who knows about quality meat, and you have no problem being a meat eater. So as far as the meat in Mexico, is that a real thing? Is that an excuse? And you speaking on how Canelo Alvarez is as a person, coming to bat for Canelo Alvarez, do you think, can we put that to rest? That's a real
Absolutely.
thing, that tainted meat in Mexico.
Absolutely. I even talked to Bob Bennett, which is the commissioner, the Nevada Boxing Commission. We talked about it the other day with the Manny Pacquiao fight. I was there ringside with him, and we talked about it. He sent people to Mexico, and yes, Canelo didn't literally like inject himself or anything. But what happens is that unfortunately is the world is a new society, and we now with social media, and they used to be voices of people that were totally irrelevant before. They didn't speak and people didn't know them. And now when they get this little opinion, they are new to social media. They go through everything that is hate. Just hate on this, hate on that,
and try to make it fact. Well, go ahead.
Make it fact, so that the consensus of the 1,000 ignorance does not make the truth. Okay, it's the same thing. They used to think that the world was flat. Well, they were all wrong. And when it comes to meat in Mexico, man, listen to me, Mexico is totally amazing. And I love Mexico because of the cuisine. You know, I would recommend you to go to Mexico City, Distrito Federal. Right when you get out of the airport, you go to an area, it's called Colonia Aragon. And in Colonia Aragon, they make this on the side of the street. They have a taqueria. They make these tacos de lengua. They are amazing. If they have clambuterol, I wouldn't know the difference. And you know,
I'm getting hungry now, Chico.
So Canelo Alvarez, hey, where's my coffee? Give me my coffee. I'm waiting for my coffee. Listen, let me show him what coffee looks like here in Brazil. I'm going to show you something great.
Yeah, please do.
You know, I have some videos in my channel, right? That is called the Pitbull University. No, I wanted some coffee, honey. Oh, I know. Yeah, okay, bring me some coffee. Tráigame una taza con café. Pon la mía.
Have the coffee with Chico.
Listen to me, brother. I don't like to call people bro too much. When they call me bro, I kind of get upset. Like, hey, bro, they don't even know me. Like, you know. So, but this is a great coffee. As a matter of fact, you need to text me your address. I'm gonna. I have a friend that's going to America in Miami, and I'm gonna have him ship this to you. It's called Latitude 13, and it's a coffee from Brazil, and we're very proud of it. I'm gonna
send me some coffee from Brazil, Chico.
I'm gonna take this coffee
with the Pitbull.
This is Awesome Buck. Awesome Buck. This is the grandfather of Canelo, and also Terence Crawford, Bones Dog, is the grandfather. They look like that, you know. And the coffee, I tell you, the smell of it.
There you go.
Thank you, because she knows
how to have some coffee. Let's have some coffee.
This one. So, you know, when it comes to the meat, Canelo is not a cheat. He's the real deal. And, you know, I wish that Mexico, and this is a good advice for Mexican people. You know, if you hate somebody, have a real reason why you hate somebody. Give them all their credits, give them all their merits. Find out if the facts of why you don't like that person are actually real. Add them up together. And Canelo is a great guy. If Canelo was American, we in America will love him. We'll never bash him for nothing. He'll be one of the greatest in America. And Americans will be proud. People have tattoos of Canelo. I don't know what happened with the people in Mexico. And I tell you, this is a little bit of a racist thing, I think, because he doesn't look too much like me. I have facial features that are like a Mayan or Lenca Indian a little bit, and he doesn't. His color, he's kind of like cinnamon color, white. And I remember when I was a child, they used to pick on children like that. You understand? They pick on him. So they used to pick on him probably, and he always been bullied. Canelo is a freaking warrior. He is going against bullying. Believe me. I know this for a fact. When he was a kid, he used to get bullied in school.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Oscar De La Hoya, he went through the same thing, didn't he? He was known as the Golden Boy. He was known as not a true Mexican. Remember his fight against was it Vargas, I believe, and he knocked him out. And they were saying that Vargas was saying he was the true Mexican. I'm not sure if you remember that, but
yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. So do you think some of that is that connection, the fact that Oscar De La Hoya took him a
So
while for him to be?
It's all connected, and also is and I talked to a friend from Mexico, the native Mexican. He told me, look, Chico, listen to me. In our country, which is Mexico, he's saying that, not me. He's saying that. He said we have this complex of not liking rich people, of not liking someone that made it, of why does he have a Bugatti? Why does he have this? He should be more humble. It's part of their custom tradition. They would love to see him riding a beat up Honda and be happy with him. They can identify with him. You know, he's too flamboyant with the way he spent his money. You know, he was paying $150,000 from a dog from Chico Lopez. We hate him for that, you know. So,
but it's free. It was free, Chico. It was free.
It was free. So with all those things up front, you know, and things like that, you know, Canelo is a great guy, and I think that people need to respect him. You know, why hate? Admire the guy. Why hate?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, look. All these guys are doing things that most of us wouldn't do.
No.
We wouldn't do.
Listen, man, I don't want to get paid to get beat up, bro.
No. And then in front of the world. Get beat up in front of the world.
Listen, I saw Canelo against Triple G, which I love Triple G too, but I saw Canelo going against Triple G, the number 2, the second time. I got up from my couch and I stood like this. I swear to God.
Because they were forehead to forehead.
Yes, and I think that I want you to bring the Mexican style, you're not Mexican. Well, he took the Mexican style, my son, you know, and I want to get number 3, of course. Listen.
Yes, sir.
Of course, we want to see number 3, right? We want to see number 3, but at the same time, he already did what we asked him to do. Why do we want to do him again? Let him play. Let's see what to build his legacy. Let him do it.
I've seen that fight. I've seen it every way. I've seen Canelo Alvarez box and Triple G be the aggressor, and I've seen Canelo Alvarez be the aggressor and Triple G he had to box. I have one question for you, and we're going to round the interview out a little bit, but one big question for you. Did you see the ERROL Spence versus Shawn Porter fight?
Absolutely.
Were you there?
I was there. Yes, I was there with Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC, of course. Yes.
Okay.
I have my credentials. I can show you I was there.
Who won the fight?
Look,
Who won the fight, Chico?
These are the credentials they give you the day before, but I saved my credentials for the event. I saved them.
Facts.
I saved them in my drawer. I actually told my wife, I said, one day when I'm old, that was probably going to, maybe, I don't know if he's going to be. Still, you have Andy Ruiz fight, but if he's not even with the Andy Ruiz fight with Joshua, and this fight, you know, both could be even for fight of the year, you know.
Okay, so we know it's a fantastic fight, but people are starting to debate who won the fight. Who do you think won the fight?
It could go either way. It could go either way. And if, you know, I was talking with a gentleman that works for ESPN, and he said they look at all the videos and they don't know if the glove actually touched the canvas. They went very close to touching. I don't know if he did. It could go either way. I think that Errol Spence is a great boxer and a warrior. I think that Shawn is a fantastic warrior.
Of course.
I love the Shawn. Listen, man, I know Shawn personally, or not personally, but like we met him a couple of times, and every time we met him, you know, when I text him or when I call him, you know, he say, "Hey, Chico, how you doing?" So he knows who I am. We're cool. Terence Crawford and Shawn, they're friends, both great people. I think that it could go a draw, to be honest with you. It could go either way also. But he just, when he hit him, when Errol hit him at the time, on that one moment, I thought that maybe that punch that looked so spectacular maybe gave him a little notch. Just a little notch.
Yeah.
Just a little notch.
Man, and hold on, you brought up something that was extremely interesting. You said, looking at the man, I'm jealous of your coffee, Chico. So
I hold it under my tongue so I can taste it.
So you said that the gloves got very close, and you don't even know if the glove actually touched the canvas or not. Let's talk a little bit about it.
I don't know.
WBC ambassador, let's talk about this a little bit.
I'm okay with the results, by the way. I'm okay with the results. I'm okay with
absolutely. But what I'm saying is instant replay. Every other sport got it.
Mauricio, let me explain to you something, and I have to do this. To Mauricio Suleiman in England with Edward, the way Edward was in the canvas, you know, he was on one.
Oh yeah, when he got the late hit and yeah, that's right.
They didn't want to have the British Commission, the gentleman from England, which I love them all. Actually, you know, I'm very friends with one of them. They don't like instant replay, and you know, but they told Mauricio, "This is your show. You know, if you want to have it, then that's fine." And Mauricio was there, and he took that one moment. You know, there are defining moments, and sometimes in the career of a person, and there's going to be a gallery of those moments for Mauricio Suleiman's glorious career as a president of WBC. And if you ever ask me, you know, if there was someone that could be qualified to be the commissioner of boxing, you got my vote for Mauricio Suleiman.
We gotta talk about that too. That's extremely important. That's extremely important. But
Mauricio Suleiman got my vote because, listen to me, honesty, integrity, and also he's also always creating new things. He's very creative, and in his heart is always the safety of the boxers and the benefit to the fans. And these elements makes him to be like the best. Listen to me. Listen, programs like WBC, WBC Care. You know, we actually have a lady by the name of Jill Diamond. She's a beautiful lady. She's a great person, great human being, goes to hospital, children. Look what happened now with the Olympics. I mean, to me, honestly, it's disgusting what happens with the amateur and everything. You know who's fighting for the amateurs? Mauricio Suleiman. Mauricio,
really?
He does have the Green Belt Challenge. I invite you and invite everyone, if you can go and record this Green Belt Challenge where he's taking and elevating these guys. I just posted a picture on my Instagram, Mauricio Suleiman giving one of these kids a medal in person. The kid and the father came. These children have dreams. And a lot of these pro boxers that we have today, their glory, their start up in their professional career came because of the amateur career. Look at Lomachenko, for instance. You know, oh, he is an Olympic. This as heavyweight. Why do we have the Golden Boy name?
Because Olympics.
Teofimo Lopez, a great, really great boxer. He got cheated in America, completely cheated by the same people with the Olympics. He had to go to Honduras, and when he went to the Olympics, he was cheated again. And so it's a real disgusting, man. The guys on the Olympics need to do this. You guys need to take Mauricio Suleiman and take over all of that stuff. Really. Yeah. You need to have a great guy. Listen, you need to have someone that really cares for boxing and has the vision to see the future, to understand, you know, someone that has the legacy, that, you know, the legacy that is like this. And in the back here, you have Don Jose Suleiman.
The foundation, yep.
And got that experience and got that corporate mind and everything else. This to me is so important. We are at a very crucial moment in the history of boxing. That event in England, what Mauricio Suleiman did, listen to me. I was sitting down on the couch with my wife. When I saw him do that, I got up on my couch again. I got up on the couch. I got up and screamed. I said, wow, Mauricio, oh my God. He came and he did it. You know, he's Mexican. That guy that he eliminated from getting the belt, his belt is also Mexican.
Absolutely. No. He was fair.
He was fair for all the people from his country to be against him for doing that. But he did the right thing.
Neither way, right. Do the right thing, because that's a stain on boxing.
You remember the movie?
Boxing is you feel that whoever was given the nod may not be the guy who really won. So you got to do the right thing and do the right thing consistently. And back to my point, I know Suleiman, he has the vision. Does he have the vision for instant replay, Chico?
But I just told you, he is the one that came with that. He already has it in certain states. He took it to England. He took it to Vegas. Listen, Mauricio has so many great things. I tell you something that a lot of people don't understand. what he does. You know this, you know, like in sports, or like you drive in the traffic light, the red color, the green color. Listen, I saw this in action. I saw it myself. I'm a witness to this. Mauricio Suleiman has this system. It's a WBC system where he has these little cards that are of red color and of blue color. And the supervisor that day gives them to the doctor, right? And so the supervisor is sitting down here, and then the doctor goes up there. And when the doctor goes up there and look at the bleeding, look at the stuff, whatever, they can either put the green card, it means continue. That's a message, because sometimes you have somebody speaks English, somebody speaks Russian. Or sometimes they can talk, or the volume is too low, whatever, and they don't want any confusion. So pull the green, it means I accept the vow can continue, or put the red, the doctor says over. Who created these things, my man? And you know something? I saw that in Russia. There was a Dmitry something, the boxer in Russia, going to these guys from Africa, and they both were hitting. I literally saw a double knockdown. These guys hit each other, and one went down, and the other one's like tumbling about to hit. The African guys were like, oh. Yeah. He hold himself, and then he won, right? But then the other guy came up with the bad bleeding on the nose, and just the doctor came and just pulled the red one. He had done it twice. Pulled first the green one, continued, then he pulled the red one. It's a beautiful system. Mauricio, the system, and
I can really talk about that all day, the future of that all day. But let's end with this. Let's end with this, Chico. Let's get back to Terence Crawford for the very end. Okay. Terence Crawford, his gameness, right? His pedigree. Him coming from nothing, becoming something, becoming undisputed at 140. Undefeated, undisputed. Okay. Terence Crawford on the outside looking in. As a fan, Chico, what can we do to get the fight we want to see? We want to see Terence Crawford against ERROL Spence. We want to see Terence Crawford against Sean Porter. We want to see Terence Crawford against Keith Thurman. What can we do to get the fight we want to see, Chico?
My friend, what we can do is this. We need to have right now Al Heyman that is watching this video. Hello, Al, how are you?
Hey,
and, hello, Al, and hello, Bob. You know, Bob remembers me on his birthday. Listen to me, guys. You know, the fans around the world want this to happen. You know, Terence met the other day with Mauricio and said, please make it mandatory, but it's up to Bob to ask for it. And he's up to Al Heyman to want to make it happen. So it's among themselves, and they have this thing against them. You know, we have the position where Errol Spence, which is a great fighter, says, I'm not afraid of him. And we saw that meet up when Terence says, what did Al tell you? He said, well, he told me that I'm going to go against Sean, I'm going to go against Danny, against Mikey. And then Terence says, did he mention my name? And then Errol said, no, he did not mention your name. So, you know, we recognize for a long time that, you know, that Errol is the boogeyman, but really when nobody wants to fight with Terence, you know, and then we have some guys that have the YouTube channels, which I like them, they're friends of mine. I respect them very well, and I respect their opinion as well. They push and say that it's Terence's fault. Listen to me. The fans don't care about whose fault it is. You know, there's
let's
do it for the fans. Let's do it for the fans. Let's do it for the glory of boxing. Let's do it for the legacy. I would love to see Sam Watson, which, you know, is an amazing guy. I love his sons. You know, I would love to see them, you know, there in the ring, you know, preparing, because this bout is going to happen. And in one corner, we have Terence Crawford, you know, and Bob is there, or the person that represents Top Rank. And in the other corner, we have Sam Watson. And this bout is going to happen. It's going to be for all history, all glory of boxing. Let the fans be happy. Who's the A side? Who's the B side? We don't care.
That's what I'm saying. Show me the fight.
Let's make it 50-50. Why not? Let's make it 50-50.
And you know what? Do a rematch. Any rematch clause and have the winner get 60.
Yeah, that's good. That's fair. And I tell you something. If you tell me that Errol got all these belts or win against all these people, listen, Terence would have taken all those guys and get the same or better results.
Yeah, but he didn't get the opportunity.
He didn't get the.
So Chico, we're going to end the interview, but before we do, I want the show business partners out there to know how to get in contact with you if they want to know and learn more about your pit bull terriers?
My friend, I created this channel. My wife opened it 4 years ago, but we didn't decided to put videos in it until about a year ago, because I didn't sell dogs for 26 years, really 25 years. I did not sell dogs to people. I really didn't. And so I decided to make that thing of, I already have my legacy in the breed stand, but then I thought about my significance and, going forward. And I didn't finish answering your question on how we'll go forward to preserve the breed. The method of comeback dogs is not possible anymore. The law, the society don't accept it anymore. They don't want it anywhere around the world. So the only thing we can do at this point is preserve the very best of what we have by the only method we have, which is the eye of the master. And, a lot of people can says, oh, I want to do it to preserve the breed. They sometimes call me and I look at what they have. And I say, these guys don't have the genetics to preserve. Those are not the right genetics to preserve. Like me trying to preserve the elephants, but I really have a donkey. How can I preserve, the elephant? So, I believe that what you have to preserve is few in between their dogs that are there that they don't belong to me. And most definitely, every one of my dogs need to be preserved for the future, because this is the real American Pit Bull Terrier. All those dogs that you see, they're biting people out there and maybe they kill somebody. Those two things, they are wrong in there. The number one is not how they raise, is genetics. And yes, how you raise them has a lot to do with it, of course. But there are two things that you got to go with. Genetics are important because genetics will play at some point a role within the behavior of the dog, but also how you raise them as well, And so with all that being said, that's how you preserve the breed. And as far as finding me, you can go to Pitbull University. I called it like that, Pitbull University, because I'm an educator, I'm a teacher, I'm a person that likes to lift others. Of course, if somebody called me, oh, Chico, I want you to coach me how to be a kennel, or how to be a breeder. I'm not going to do that. I'm not for that. I am not. If I am the last guy that's going to have the American Pit Bull Terriers, let it be. But I also believe that there is a process. I always have a process in mind. And I do have something on my head that when the time comes, we can talk about it, where I'm going to have some people that are going to have my dogs, and I'm going to guide them on how to do those things. But they are going to have my dogs, and I'm going to mix a race horse with a donkey and then try to preserve it. So I'll preserve it. And then to find me, good fans can find me at Instagram. It's called I'll write it down here. You can find me at Real Chico Lopez, like Real Donald Trump, Real Chico Lopez. There's a lot of great guys. Real Chico Lopez, Real Buffer, Real Chico Lopez. That's you can find me. And Pitbull University or just ChicoLopez.com is for my website. You want to see pictures of celebrities in there, people, ESPN and stuff like that. And, I'm an humble person, of course, but, these dogs are not for everybody. If you're the softy guy, if you're the kind of like sissy, sassy type of guy, maybe a snowflake, your nails are soft, and that maybe that's not the right type of dog. But even you're a boxer, you're a tough guy, and an humble guy at the same time, or you're a businessman and need something to have with you, or you are just the guy like with me, it is one thing. It's only the best. If he's not the best, I don't want it. It's simple. Jim Collins wrote this book that I really love. It's called From Good to Great. If you look at all the best CEOs in the world, whether it's Steve Jobs or whether it's Bill Gates or what's his name, Elon Musk, you're going to see they read this book. It's called From Good to Great. It was written by a man called Jim Collins, and he says this, very important. He says, good is the enemy of great, which means good has to be gone. He says we don't have great schools because we're happy with the good ones we have. We don't have a great life because we're happy with the good life we have. So when it came to dogs is like that. It's, people say like, oh man, why don't you rescue? Listen, man, rescue is a vicious cycle because you rescue somebody's leftovers, somebody's misbreeding, somebody problem. There's a novelty part of it, but it's a functionality, pragmatic part of it that doesn't work. what they have to do is put 100, stop breeding old dogs for 10 years. The ones you have, keep them until they die, until they have a good life, and then allow only the really great breeders to and creators to take the breeds and rejuvenate the breeds and put the dogs in the right areas. Listen, you're a breeder, you want to buy a dog from me? I don't want to talk with you because I want a guy that will take my dog and says, I want to have a dog from Chico Lopez because I want the best. I want it to be my house dog. I want to go out running with him. I want to have an inspiration. That's the only thing.
Thank you very much, Chico. And good is the enemy of great. WBC ambassador. Thank you so much, brother. It was great speaking with you. Awesome interview. Thank you for stopping by. Please stop by again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
ShowBizz. Oh, don't. I'm out.